This episode of Nintendo Expansion Pass is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Pop Like and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Expansion Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host and last excited Eddie V. Joining me is one of the only bossman himself is Corey Deary. Hello, good sir.
Hello, why are you talking so fast? I feel like we're on fast forward. No.
Well, we just recorded Nintendo Pop Block. And one of the topics that we were talking about was Nintendo Nintendo Switch Online celebrating 3 years, and they have more stuff to come, and one of the more things that's coming is Banjo Tooie. But we were thinking about other systems and other games that also could come to the system before their next console release. So we're going to be discussing our feelings about it, like what do we think could come, and things that we would love to come. So Corey, I'm gonna start it off with you. What systems do you think could come to Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass?
So when we were talking about this, I thought this would be a great opportunity to have. Everybody wants Dreamcast, right? Everybody wants the Dreamcast. Everybody wants, those games that, we were talking earlier too, right? Like that console has so many hits for only being out a year, right? A year and a change, right? And so, you got Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, you have Jet Grind Radio, you have all the 2K sports games, you have Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, Blue Stinger, and I guess Illbleed to, if you want to continue that route. You have Code Veronica, you have, Resident Evil 2 and 3, I think are both on there.
Yeah.
You have you have Phantasy Star Online. There's so many.
And Dreamcast was like that arcade board kind of console. So games that came on the Naomi board was easily ported to the Dreamcast. So we're getting Power Stone on the next Capcom collection. But Power Stone was a big one on Dreamcast. So a lot of stuff that people miss on that system, being able to play it on Switch, they would be like, oh, now we understand the history for those who miss that system and miss that era of gaming.
Yeah, it's I think the Dreamcast, it's an incredible machine that I think was just it came out at the wrong time. And everybody was really anticipating the PlayStation 2. It had the DVD player in it and had, which is ironic because like the PlayStation 2, I think in terms of exclusives is maybe the weakest PlayStation console, in my opinion. We got, like Kingdom Hearts and God of War and, Final Fantasy 10 and 12 were there, and there's a lot of interesting things there, right? But like,
yeah,
I think the PlayStation 2 had a lot more going for it than just games, and I think people were excited about that, right? And they really pushed the DVD stuff, and then on top of that, like the Dreamcast was incredibly easy to emulate games on. Right.
Yes.
They sold the Bleem disc at Target, right? That was, and then you just burn the discs. You go to Blockbuster and burn all the games on CD-ROMs, and then you can just play them, right? And that was kind of like, that was the downfall. But I think that the reason why the security was so bad on the Dreamcast is because it was way too difficult to port games to the Saturn, right? And
Yeah.
aside from like the terrible marketing of the Saturn and them just kind of stealth releasing it in a time where that was not a viable marketing solution, like killed the Saturn. And so they pumped the Dreamcast out early and trying to make it easier for people to port games to. And then obviously they made it too easy. And then, but
Yeah.
it's, the Dreamcast is an incredible machine. Um, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for Sega in general to contribute to the Nintendo Switch expansion pack,
Yeah.
whatever. And not just Dreamcast, but Saturn. We talked about Master System. We talked about Game Gear.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot they could do. There's so much they could do, man. Give me those
Like
bad
I
versions of Sonic.
like for me, it's as much as I want the Dreamcast and the Saturn. I want the Sega CD because I that's an add-on that I never had. My brother, he wasn't into the Sega CD stuff. He had the Genesis, but like I man, if this is the only way that I could play Snatcher, I would play it. Konami was just like, yeah, put Snatcher on into the Switch online, like and Police Knots I think it's PlayStation, but um yeah, I feel like Sega could be the big thing for expansion pass. I mentioned on Pop Lock that NEC with the TurboGrafx, and I forgot about the TurboGrafx CD also had games on it. Like TurboGrafx was on Wii for the Wii channel, but I'm like, shoot, put those games on Switch. I would love to play Bonk and Arizonk and Splatterhouse and Castlevania on there. And but Fighting Street was their version of Street Fighter, too. But it was called Fighting Street on TurboGrafx. And there's just like some shoot 'em ups and Splatterhouse and stuff that that were on the NEC, that was on the TurboGrafx. And then they had another version of like Super TurboGrafx in Japan, but they only released like 5 or 6 games for it. And it did different things. So like that could come to Nintendo Switch Online expansion. I would play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's. I wonder, man. I'm just trying to think. Like, there's so many different things you could do. Like, I mean, we were talking about Atari. Like, I mean, we were talking about Jaguar, but like, I mean, look at
Mhm.
you could do the links too, right? I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's some interesting things there.
yeah.
Um, let's see. I mean, you could even do. We were talking about how you could do the 3DO, right? And like those Zelda games are so important to Nintendo's history, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not all important history is good history, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's just one of those, what
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
just
was you mentioned Game Gear, and I was thinking of Surf Ninjas, that movie.
yeah, Surf Ninjas, man.
uh,
Every time I see the Game Gear, that's all I think about is Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas, yeah. Um, but there's just so much potential for it, and when it comes to just games itself and everything, um, man, I with Rare and Xbox, like there's probably still some Nintendo games that Rare did that hasn't came on to the platform. Even for NES. And I would just love to see that stuff come. If it can. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, because it would be bunkers to get Sony and Xbox to put, definitely Sony, because Sony did make games for the Super Nintendo, like Peter Pan or Hook.
yeah,
I think it was Hook.
yeah. It was
And
Hook.
then the Sega CD version also had Hook, and they had an orchestra for the 16-bit graphics. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go that far, I think it would be interesting to put some original Xbox games, like and like put out a Duke controller, like a wireless Duke controller. I mean, I know Hyperkin kind
Oh,
of put those out already, but like,
yeah.
I think you could do that. right?
Yeah.
So
Like Xbox put in their whole Xbox, their original Xbox, those games on Nintendo Switch. And what they, even if they were just like, you know what, we'll do it, if, but you know, here's another $10 charge that we got to do, or $20 charge. Like people be like, yes, I'm going to pay the difference. You guys gotta, let's say, $5 off for the first year, and then when you renew it, it'll be 60 or $70. You better believe everybody's gonna be like, yeah, let me play this. Definitely, if it's like games that's not backwards compatible on Series X to the first Xbox, shoot, dude, that Knights of the Old Republic just show up on on that mug on Switch.
yeah,
Um, or because everybody be like, where do we get Halo? I'm like, maybe, I'm like, we don't need Halo. Uh, there's better ways to play Halo, but like, there's some obscure Xbox games that never appeared on any Nintendo console. That was only for Xbox, that you pretty much could put on that mug. Um, like, shoot, I maybe throw on Psychonauts on that mug on
yeah.
for Xbox.
I mean, I'm actually shocked that Psychonauts 1 and 2 aren't on Switch already, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I thought those were shoo-ins.
Yeah,
So,
shoot, Dino Crisis was, I think, Xbox, or was that Dino Crisis 3? That was on Xbox.
3, because that's the one where they went to space to fight dinosaurs, which
Okay,
was ridiculous.
all right. A Togi, which is a Sega game that was on Xbox, could probably make it. Man, I'm just looking at it. Like I still got my friends Half-Life 2 for Xbox, and everything. Like, I think games that showed up on Xbox that didn't show on Nintendo console could, could work on it. Like, what even if Microsoft did throw on Halo, like literally OG Xbox Halo, dude, you just all the LAN parties used to. If it wasn't World of Warcraft, you was having an Xbox Halo party at somebody's house. Dude, to do that much on Switch? Heck yeah. And yes, Xbox does has Game Pass, but I'm like, I think yes, Nintendo doesn't have the best online experience. We all can admit that. But if they was able to get that more, if anyone was able to get online to work, would be Xbox for Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, we've been saying that for a long time, right? Is where
Yeah,
Xbox should definitely collaborate with Nintendo and get their online functionality up to snuff. So
yeah. So I, so the original Xbox being on Switch would be wild, but I would be here for it. And just do it like what they that Minecraft dungeon game, like role playing game that they had, just like, so you can still get your achievements if they want to add achievements if you have an Xbox account. Like, that would still be cool, still work. Be like, okay, we see that you're playing the Nintendo Switch. You got an Xbox Live account. Okay, here you go. Oh, you giving achievements? It's letting you know on your laptop or on your mobile phone or whatever. Yeah, do it.
yeah, it's
No.
I think I think I think with Xbox wanting to be everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think and I know we know Game Pass isn't coming to Switch, but like I think you could definitely implement certain smaller, I think you could definitely do some Xbox original titles as well as some like maybe some smaller, you know, Xbox 360 titles, maybe like something like
Yeah.
Shadow Complex or what else did they publish over there? What did the Twisted Pixel games, the Explosion Man games,
Yeah.
small stuff like that, which I actually think Explosion Man and Misplosion Man are already on Switch, but I'm so yeah.
Yeah, so there is a lot of possibilities. So, Sega, Xbox. I mentioned Neo Geo with their console and like the Neo Geo CD and Wonder Swan. Like that's a possibility. Um, 3 Duo. Like there's some obscure video game systems. Not
Hmm.
the what was the Android one? There was like a little box that was streaming. I thought it starts with a O. I cannot think. The Ouya. you know, well, Ouya wouldn't be on Switch, but it's a possibility still.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely a possibility, I think.
so, Corey, are there any games that you would like to see? Or
I mean, I think so. The thing is like we've already talked about GameCube being like the perfect generation to kind
mm-hmm.
of remaster and sell, which they've clearly been doing.
Yes.
I think and we obviously I don't want to see that, but I mean what I would like them to do if they are going to sell those games is to like and we saw that GameCube controllers might be coming back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talked about Wavebirds. I think that would be like a really cool addition to NSO is like, hey, you can buy the Wavebird controllers to play these GameCube games that we're selling, and maybe they patch in GameCube modes for the games that are already out. Maybe they're
Yes.
just functional controllers. Who knows? Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Man.
but like, I
Wave
mean, Skies of
Wavebird.
Arcadia, we talked about, a lot. That's like the one game, right? Skies of Arcadia. I would
Yeah.
love to see the Sonic adventure games too, right? Even if they're the GameCube DX versions.
Yes. Shoot, Sonic Heroes for me. I never got to play it, but I heard it had a banging soundtrack. Um, I think I would love to have like a main like arcade board. Even though there's arcade games that you could buy off of Switch, I would love to have like arcade games that have been only in China or Japan or Australia, like Japanese, like arcade games that never came out of their region, out of their country, appearing on Switch, like a main arcade, like Nintendo Switch Arcade, and you just all you get is like obscure arcade games on it. Maybe we get the Punch Out game with the R frame on it. Did that ever come to Switch? I think it did. The arcade archive. I have to look. But yeah, I would love to do that. Shoot, Sega Arcade, I would love to have. Do play Hang On, uh, House of the Dead, 1 and 2, like the arcade versions of games that Sega has made. Shoot, Alter Beast, come on now, I would take an Alter Beast arcade game.
Yeah. I
Shoot, maybe
yeah, I mean
works.
that would be really interesting if like these arcade games started coming over, like man, now I'm thinking of all kinds of things.
Shoot,
Even Sega.
Sega works something out with the Michael Jackson estate so I could get that arcade version of Moonwalker. With the 3-player diagonal shoot 'em up arcade game. I played the Sega Genesis. My brother had Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis when it first came out.
Jeez.
Very rare game. Trust me, I beat it on every level, on every difficulty challenge. So yeah. Um, but shoot, dude, just think of all the Sega arcade games like Hang On, Outrun, you know, shoot, like even obscure Sega games that haven't came over here for the arcade. Like, Sega Arcade, shoot, dude, that would, to me, that would make money. Well,
Yeah.
not make money, but that would have people give Nintendo more money, so they could have that on.
Yeah, I think I would love to see the Mario Kart game. I would love to see, like, even if they just added those tracks to Mario Kart 8, honestly. But
Yeah.
um, I would really like to see. Wasn't there an F-Zero arcade game too?
Yep, there
Um,
was.
the Punch Out one would be interesting, especially with motion controls. Maybe could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I
So
think what Switch has a camera in it, right? I
what?
believe the Switch does it have a camera in the front?
Um,
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
It hasn't. I
Uh
don't know.
because I know for the Mario Arcade one, you were able to take pictures. So if you was like a male and you was pressing speech, you could take a picture of your face on it. Me and my friends did that at 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 this one place, and my friend, he has this big beard and everything, and he was Princess Peach in Mario Kart, and me and my other friend, we just fell out laughing. We were just like, this is the most ridiculous thing to see, and it was just so much fun.
Nice. Well,
So
I'm I'm really intrigued to see what is coming to Expansion Pass. I mean, obviously they're gonna have to charge more at some point if they start bringing all this stuff, right? But I
mm-hmm.
still, you know, yeah.
I'm here for it. Yeah. Well, everybody, that's gonna be it for Nintendo Expansion Pass. We definitely want to hear what can come to the system that you would love to see with games, that you would love to see us with that there. So, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.